Just hours after Ted Cruz spoke at this past Friday's NRA convention, he decided to go out for a nice sushi dinner to celebrate, where he was confronted by an activist who just happened to be eating at that same restaurant. Take a look at this clip, a small portion of the exchange between the two men, and here it is.
Why did this keep happening? And why did you come here to the convention to take blood money? Why? When 19 children died, 19 children died. That's on your hands. That's on your hands. Ted Cruz, that's on your hands.
Now, the man in that clip that is being forcibly removed from the establishment by Ted Cruz's security detail is a man by the name of Benjamin Hernandez, who had already spent the day live streaming the protests taking place outside of the NRA convention. After that had ended, Mr. Hernandez and his wife decided to go to their favorite sushi restaurant, and who should walk in but Ted Cruz? Mr. Hernandez said this just felt like fate, and he wasn't going to pass up the opportunity, so he actually posed for a moment as somebody that didn't hate Ted Cruz, walked up and was like, "Oh, can I get a picture?" And then once he gets Ted Cruz standing next to him, he confronts him about doing nothing about gun violence here in the United States. Ted Cruz, in his smug little Ted Cruz way that you got to see on that video, basically said that he was ignorant. Not basically, he did call him ignorant. Said he's combining hatred with ignorance. And then, of course, this led to the testy exchange, and unfortunately the man, not Ted Cruz, was forcibly removed from the establishment, and Ted Cruz and his smug little bye-bye. And he sat down and got to enjoy his sushi. Now, here's the thing. This clip, of course, has been going around online for a couple days now. If you haven't already seen the full thing, it's easily, you can find it on Twitter, you can find it in the news. It's all over the place. This story's, a couple days old at this point. The point I want to make here is that this is what should happen. These people, like Ted Cruz, shouldn't have a moment of comfort out in public again until they solve this crisis and admit what is actually causing it. On Friday, what Ted Cruz told that crowd at the NRA convention, he said, "The media blames you, the millions of members of the NRA, for these crimes. That is a lie. Nobody here has committed these kinds of unspeakable crimes. Everybody here is horrified." No, they're not, Ted, and you know that. You're not an idiot. You're a very smart person, to be honest. You know exactly what the NRA has done to help loosen gun regulations here in the United States. That is a fact. You have taken hundreds of thousands of dollars from that organization. So you go up there, your paid little lapdog, tell them what they want to hear to make themselves feel better. Then, of course, you go back to Washington, D.C., and you stifle any action that could save American lives. That's what you do. Even though a majority of Americans, including, by the way, a majority of NRA members, support common sense gun legislation that gets these weapons of war out of the hands of dangerous individuals. It's like an 80-20 split, by the way, between the people who want gun control, 80%, and people who don't, little under 20%. And Ted Cruz is advocating on behalf of the 20% because that's who the leadership at the NRA wants to protect, because that's where they get their money. It's a very simple thing. But again, the way Benjamin Hernandez handled himself in that video was perfect. He did not get violent. He was confrontational, which, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. You're allowed to do that. You don't touch the other person. You don't do anything that's going to get you sued by any stretch of the imagination. But confront them. Talk to them. Yell at them if you have to. They should not be comforted. They should not be comfortable. They should not ever be allowed to eat another meal in public in peace again. Families are burying their loved ones today because of the actions, or should I say inactions, of people like Ted Cruz. So I'm sorry, but I'm not going to feel a bit of sympathy to the fact that Ted Cruz can't sit down and eat his sushi roll in peace as parents, loved ones, family members bury their children on this day. Hey everyone, this is Aspen. And did you know that for the low cost of $0 per day, you can subscribe to the Fair and Balanced YouTube channel? We also encourage you to like, comment, and share, but again, click that subscribe button. and help Aspen not be so grumpy.